Now, the coalition's controversial bedroom tax, as it's described by its critics, has come under scrutiny once again after a grandmother left a suicide note for her family in which she blamed the government for her decision to end her life. The family of 53-year-old Stephanie Bottrell says she was struggling to cope after being told to pay an extra £20 a week to keep her house in Solihull after her grown-up children had left. Cordelia Lynch has the details.
Stephanie Bottrell lived in this house in Solihull for 18 years, but recently she was faced with paying £20 a week more for her 2 spare rooms after her children moved out. At 53 years old, she decided she couldn't cope. In a suicide letter to her son, the grandmother wrote,
"Don't blame yourself for me ending my life. It's my life. The only people to blame are the government."
Stephanie was one of 660,000 people affected by the so-called bedroom tax. Under the system, benefits are deducted from social housing tenants with more rooms than they need. Stephanie's neighbours say she struggled to deal with the new demands. Last Saturday, she left her home for the last time and walked into the path of a lorry on the M6.
She was so upset, she was so distraught. She just kept saying that she didn't want to go, and then we're making her go, and she couldn't see a way out.
She said, I just can't find this extra money to pay for the rooms. And she'd been in the house 18 years, you know, and it's I don't know.
The council had offered her a smaller property and some money to move, but she felt it was too far away from her friends and family.
I can hardly believe that due to the imposition of the bedroom tax, this poor lady has taken her life. And I really am calling upon the government now to create some flexibility in this policy.
The Department for Work and Pensions, which is responsible for the reform, didn't want to comment on this individual case, but the government's opponents were quick to round in on the wider debate about the impact of these controversial changes.
There's no doubt that this policy is driving people to the edge of despair in their many thousands across the country. And I do think that David Cameron and George Osborne and Ian Duncan Smith should stand back from their rhetoric, which is always a little bit nasty and a little bit divisive, and say, what are we actually doing here?
We don't know to what extent financial pressures led Stephanie to kill herself, but the Samaritans say suicide is never the result of a single factor.
We know that many people are experiencing difficulties around the financial situation. This no doubt would have played a part in Stephanie's decision to take her own life, but it's very complex and it's always difficult to say.
Thousands protested against it, and some concessions have been made for armed forces personnel and foster carers. Whatever lies behind Stephanie Bottrell's tragic decision, the controversy around the bedroom tax continues to grow.